Welcome to What the Health? Where anything health is fair game as we tackle the trends and bust the myths about health and wellness. Here are your hosts, Dr. Dan and Angela Toro.
And welcome to another episode of What the Health. I am Dr. Dan here with my co-host,
Angela. Welcome back, everybody. Before we get started, you guys know the drill at this point, our little disclaimer. We're here for informational purposes only, in no way offering individualized medical advice. Always talk to your trusted healthcare provider before making changes to your lifestyle. So with that being said, I think this is a big one, especially this time of year. We're surfing the sea of supplementation.
Yeah, everyone, asking about what they can do to, better their health, New Year's resolutions, blah, 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 blah.
Immunity, what can I do? Yeah, I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm overweight.
Yeah,
How do I, what's the magic pill?
What's the next magic bullet?
Oh gosh, and we're just inundated with all of the advertisements for, all the clickbait is what I call it. Take this and lose 30 pounds. And this is all you need to do is take this one thing or buy this supplement, take this drink, this. It's very tempting, but it can be very, very overwhelming and very expensive if you're constantly caught up in whatever the newest, I don't want to say fad, but newest fad or newest biohack, newest, this is the next big thing for weight loss or energy or
boost your brain.
Build muscle, boost your brain. Like all those buzzwords that you often see associated with supplementation. So where do we even start when we're trying to think about, do we need to be taking supplements? Which ones? How much? If somebody's just out there completely lost or maybe they have that entire cabinet full and it's like, do I really need all of this? Where should we really start when it comes to that?
Well, and I think that's the most important, to start with the foundation of what is our philosophy on supplementation. And it is just that. It's in the word. Supplement.
That's what is a supplement.
Supplement is in addition to a good, healthy, quality diet.
Yeah, like all those supplemental readings you were supposed to do in college. Yeah. And it's like, wait, not required? Supplemental.
Yeah, and that's where half the test questions come from. It's like, oh, shoot. But yes, this is always in addition to a good, healthy, well-rounded diet. And I know we have talked, we have over-inundated people with our talks about and discussions about what to eat and when to eat. And, today we just really want to focus on, supplements and, when is a good time, maybe what should you be taking, could you be taking, and maybe some reasoning behind it. I am not the practitioner. I cycle personally. I cycle my supplementation, meaning that, I will go a couple weeks and be really, really good with it. And then I will go, a couple weeks and, not be taking it depending on, my routine, depending on what it is. And I think just like with foods, when you cycle different foods through the season, it's good to give your body a break and it helps it adapt better. I find that, it just works better for me personally. And again, a lot of the supplements that we recommend that you take, if you look at fat soluble vitamins, if you look at essential fatty acids, a lot of those are stored in your system because they're fat soluble, whereas more of the water soluble vitamins are not. I'll just ask you straight up, Angela, is there anything that you take every day and you absolutely will take it the rest of your life?
You already know the answer to that. I am so bad. I am the one that has the cabinet full of supplements that I occasionally remember to take. So I would say the big ones that I try to be good about are the EFAs, which are the essential fatty acids. So a lot of people think of fish oil as how it's kind of mainstream marketed, but what's really nice about ours, which is why I like ours and I continue with it, is because I actually notice a difference when I'm off it for too long. It actually has the blend again of the different types of fatty acids, so not just from the fish oil. but the different sources.
Well, I found that very interesting, and the reason I brought that to our office, fish oil is strictly omega-3, and again, if you get a fish oil,
which is good,
it's good, absolutely. You essential or essential fatty acids, omega-3s are so important, and there's mounds of research on the amount of omega-3s in our ancestral diets versus our current modern day diet, and it's been significantly reduced. So so many scientists were like, well, we need to get that ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 up, because a lot of people, because a lot of the processed fats, the seed oils, from processed foods and French fries and all that, fried foods, that's all omega-6 oil. But again, that's processed, and it's it's fried oil. We're over inundated with the omega-6s, and then we don't get enough omega-3. So the whole idea of fish oil was to help with that ratio and up the omega-3. The challenge is omega-3s, omega-6s and omega-9s are still required. Yes. They are also an essential fatty acid, and you should be getting them from a good quality source. So taking a blended supplement allows you to get omega-3, 6, and 9 and just get it into your system.
In the right ratio.
Yeah, in the right ratio. But the one thing, and the reason I went to the blended supplement a while back was because, I was actually talking to, one of the researchers at a convention that I went to, and they were talking about different tissues in the body use omega-3, 6, and 9 in different ratios.
Yeah.
So by just over inundating your body with a bunch of omega-3s, you might be missing out on some of the 6s and 9s, especially coming from a good quality product, to make sure that those tissues are getting the right ratio. So we just say, here's the blend.
Yeah.
It's a good quality plant-based supplement for the 6s and the 9s, and also has the fish oil in it as well for the omega-3s. And so you're getting all of the essential fatty acids, that should be in our diet, and again, how we were genetically created to have a lot of those oils in our system, and those are the building blocks of really every cell in the body. Yeah, every cell in the body, has a phospholipid bilayer. Every cell in the body has that. And if you remember back to biology, or you're in the science, very, very familiar with the phospholipid bilayer. But when it says lipid, that means fat. Those fats are made from omega-3, 6, and 9. And so if you don't have those building blocks, then you literally will start to get faulty. You can have faulty membranes in some of the cells, and you can have a lot of damage. New healthy cells, don't turn over in a good healthy ratio when they're dividing. So omega-3, 6, and 9, it's just so important. And think about it like the lubrication to your engine.
Yeah,
you don't put oil in your engine for 30,000 miles. You're going to learn very quickly how important that oil is.
Exactly.
And so it's same idea with your body. It's like it's used in, so many different biochemical pathways that if you just make sure that it's in your system. Now, I'm not saying you can't get it in foods, because you absolutely can. What are some of the foods that we can get our
and that's probably why I cycle with the supplements. So the good fatty fishes, your salmon, walnuts, your fatty nuts, things like that. If you're eating that in enough quality, it's actually not that difficult to get enough. It's just the type of foods that we don't tend to eat a lot of in this country. So if you're eating the fatty fishes a couple times a week, if you're eating, a handful of those, walnuts, almonds, Brazilian nuts is probably one of the best. If you're eating that daily, you're probably getting close to what you need. But again, it's just the number of people that are actually doing that and on a regular basis that's where you really want to make sure that you're getting that supplementation if you're not getting enough of it in your diet. But those healthy fats absolutely are. And the reason it's called essential is because they are essential to the body, but the body does not synthesize them. So you have to get them from your diet or from that supplementation.
Yeah, anytime you hear the word essential in nutrition, it means that you must ingest it because your body does not make it. So, so essential fatty acid is literally the acids, the fats that your body needs to make a lot of the different biochemical reactions. So
so that is one that we recommend a lot, especially people having joint pain, just. Again, overall, I mean, it's good for heart health. It's good for the entire
brain function.
Your brain literally
70% fat
runs on fat. Yeah, your heart runs on. Like people don't realize that, but those really important organs that we need to function really need that healthy fat. So if you're not getting it from your diet, which as we talked about, the standard American diet, the SAD diet that people tend to follow is way too much of the processed, unhealthy fats and not enough of the good, the good balance between the 3, 6, and 9. So that's where, again, a good supplement can certainly come into play. That's one I definitely keep on hand. I'd say the other one. Well,
and real quick, just going back to the cycle, because it's a fatty based supplement, and your body will store some of it. That's one where I might not take it for a couple days, but then I'll take a handful, and I'll just, if the serving size, if we recommend 3 daily and I miss a couple days in a row, I might take 6 one day, and I'll just pop them in my hand and throw them back. So again, that's something that just cycling it through and having it there. Oh, I forgot a couple days. Well, no big deal. Just, toss it, get it in your system.
Get it back in. Yeah.
Your body knows what to do with it.
Exactly. But then, I'd say the other one, especially this time of year, is the vitamin D, which is absolutely so important and so difficult to get naturally if you live in a lovely gray city like we do. Pittsburgh, I think I know it used to be, I believe it's number 2 to Seattle as far as least number of sunny days in a year. So vitamin D, again, your body has the ability to naturally synthesize, but it needs the sun. It requires that sunshine, the right amount of it, direct contact to the skin, and it needs to be the right season. So this time of year, even if we see the sun, it's not close enough and you're not going to get enough of that, enough of the UV rays to actually create that synthesis process.
Yeah, not quite enough of it. Just because of the angle of the sun in relationship to where we are in the earth. So
if you live somewhere closer to the equator that you're seeing the sun year round, yes, you would, be fine. You likely would not need a supplement unless you have something going, some reason your body's not doing it naturally. But here I'd say, the majority of people in Pittsburgh are probably walking around low in vitamin D, if not deficient. And that's, it's concerning because, again, that one, vitamin D plays a huge role in...
the number of connections and low vitamin D and autoimmune disorders,
immunity in general.
Energy, cancer, energy. It's classified as a vitamin, but it really, there's a lot of researchers that push that it's actually are starting to call it more of a hormone because of its interaction in so many different biochemical processes in the body. So
that is one I do try to do daily, which the one we have in the office makes it easy because it's that the little dab on your finger. It's not even a full pill.
And the other important thing too is making sure that it is D3, which is the natural version that your body would synthesize in the sun. Again, our science is famous for creating or trying to reproduce nature, and so we have synthetic vitamin D2, which is a lot of times when you see people prescribed like the 50,000 units and you just take one pill a week, a lot of times those are synthetic.
The D2.
And I've had patients come in and they're having excruciating muscle pain and they couldn't figure out why, and sure enough, I linked it back to them starting a vitamin D supplement regimen from their medical doctor, and sure enough, it was D2, and it just sat in their muscle and just was causing excruciating muscle pain. So as soon as you get them off of that and onto a good quality D3, makes such a difference. And then the other thing that you have to add that our office has also transitioned to is making sure the absorption of D3 is important. So you have to have vitamin K2, which goes along with that. So, and a lot of the good quality supplement brands now, they offer D3 with the K2, just to make sure that your body's getting enough of it. And I think, again, in part is if you're, Acai a lot of times comes in green leafy vegetables.
Yeah.
And so if you already have a poor quality diet and you just don't have, a good microbiome going on, maybe some breakdown of like the mucus lining, you're just not going to get the same absorption rate in your small intestine, for some of these, good healthy nutrients. So, just making sure that they're there, in the supplement, can just optimize that as you hopefully make the transition and decision to clean that diet up.
Yeah, and that brings up such a key point when it comes to supplementation in general, which is quality is always going to be the key thing to look for. So supplements are not regulated in the same way that prescription drugs are. And now again, that's not necessarily like there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
It's because again, there's things in prescription drugs that are, also concerning. But the thing with supplements is because they're not regulated, unless they are third party tested, assertive, like the ones that brand that we carry in the office. So basically a third party is taking them and testing them and saying that yes, what is on the label is in fact what is in the supplement.
Yeah.
If you go to, your local drugstore and pick up a supplement off the shelf, if it is not third party certified, there is absolutely zero guarantee that what is on the label is what you're actually getting. Yeah. You don't know. There could be additional stuff in it. There could be stuff missing. There could, again, not be the right version because there are so many different, versions of what we were just saying.
Synthetic versus natural.
Yes. Yeah. There's different combinations of things where it makes it more effective or less effective, more easily absorbed or less easily absorbed. So all of these things are really important because if you're taking a supplement that's not put together in the right way with the good quality ingredients that are going to be absorbed, you're essentially just...
Might as well just flush it down the toilet.
Literally, yeah. And actually, I know there have been studies done with the one-a-day multivitamins. Now, this was, I can't say currently, but I remember back in college when I was learning about supplements, and they said they actually took... they actually took imaging of people's stomachs after taking a one-a-day vitamin and could see it in full form through the entire digestive tract. It was never actually broken down.
I've seen x-rays of people in their colon. It's just sitting. It's
you can
what
literally
is that?
track. Yeah, you can track it through because it just never actually gets broken down and absorbed.
Well, that goes to the whole the whole question of what is in the supplement and. A lot of times, again, it comes down to cost, right? And you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And when you're, buying that vitamin and, in 1,000 capsules or tablets off your big box store and, you look at it, a lot of times the binders and fillers in there, it's a very high heat process. Mm-hmm. They're going to put, whatever, supplement, synthetic product in there so that they can put it on the label. But then they pack it full with so many binders and fillers to maintain its shelf life. That's one of the frustrations that we deal with is some of our supplements, they have a quick shelf life and if they don't sell, it's like, well, shoot, now we got to take it off of there because it's more like food. Yeah. It's much closer to food grade quality, compared to some of those big box stores. Some of those vitamins will be sitting next to the Twinkies after the nuclear holocaust.
We'll always have Twinkies in one a day.
Because they're packed so full with binders and fillers, and that's just what you said. It's like the body that even your stomach acid, especially a lot of people have weak stomach acid as it is, and so they can't even begin to break down the vitamin. So, they're not lying about what the ingredients are in there, but it's packed so tightly. Your
body's never seen any of that.
And again, it's such a cheap quality, process to, get as many in. Yeah. And that's also why if you look at the serving size, they pack that serving size full. You'll see, 5,000%, 10,000% of your day. Yeah, because you're not even close to absorbing that. And so, so that's where, again, you get what you pay for, quality over quantity.
And again, a good quality supplement doesn't have to be, because again, you could be out there spending a lot of money on, on some of those fad ones that we were... that we were talking about, and that still aren't good quality. So, you really want to just make sure that you're doing the research, making sure that things are certified in some way. Like you'll see on the labels, that they're third party certified, and you just want to make sure that. And the best way to do it is to work with chiropractors or a natural doctor who
work with a health practitioner who has them on their shelf
brand,
that they know and they've done the research and they've talked with the company. And so again, you can't even get our supplement. You can't buy it.
No, you have to be on Amazon or something else. Provider, right?
Yeah. You have to be a licensed healthcare provider, because then they check your license and they make sure that they're giving the product to someone who, again, at least has somewhat of an idea of what they're doing and what they're giving. And a lot of the good companies are. So, I mean, I don't think I would even buy a supplement off the shelf anymore if it didn't come from a healthcare practitioner that I knew and trusted. So,
so you really just, that's the biggest thing is the quality. And then, and then again, making sure, as we were saying, it's a supplement. So making sure that you're not just taking everything because I heard this is good for this and this is good for this. And, again, we carry a handful of supplements in the office, but, we're not personally taking all of them. We wouldn't tell anybody that you should be taking all of them. You want to, I'm very honest with people when they're like, oh, I'm already taking this and this. Should I add this? And it's like, no, that's kind of all the same, because we have things that have like different combinations of stuff.
Exactly.
So it's like, well, if you're already taking, our multi has pretty much everything in it. So, if you're taking that, you might not need to add some of these other things in as much.
And the other thing that we talk about with our multi, because even if you look at the serving size of our multi, it's 6 capsules.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the argument of, some of the poor quality products, they pack it in really tightly in a tablet form. And you're never going to absorb it. Ours are capsules, so where the capsule is designed to break down very quickly. And now you have that powder that dissipates, into your digestive tract and is now much more easily absorbed, but you have to take 6 of them versus one big tablet. So some people were like, whoa, that's a lot. But again, because it's more like food, but again, even though the serving size is 6, a lot of times I'll tell people, take 3 a day, and just get that in your system. And if that is in conjunction with a healthy diet, well-balanced, well-rounded diet, you're going to get your fill of, of your vitamins, what do they call it? Minimum daily requirement, or, I forget all the terms now on the percentages but at the end of the day, making sure that, you're getting enough, you're getting the right quality.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like, it's not magic where it's, you're going to take 1 serving and you're going to notice something. But what I tell people is if you're taking something that you truly need, you should notice some kind of change.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if I don't take the fatty acids for a while and the diet's not what it should be, I will start to notice that things feel achy. I'm not recovering from my workouts. The fatigue. Same with the, vitamin D and the energy levels, or the B vitamins, the energy levels, huge. That's the one I just discovered recently where I was like, oh wow, I have so much more energy. I'm not napping every day because I don't eat a lot of red meat. So I realized I, probably wasn't getting sufficient B vitamins. And,
especially with your level of activity and how much you're burning through those in your workouts.
So it was like, that was one of those, I was like, oh, hey, what do you know? But, you should be magnesium. That's another one I take. That's a daily for me. And that's one where it's like, again, if I don't, I do the Epsom salt baths almost daily, probably at least every other day. But if I don't, I'm definitely taking the supplement. And sometimes I still do the supplement on top of it just because, again,
how many milligrams you take a day?
I do, because I do the Epsom salt so regularly, I do, I do 200 if I took a bath, 300, 300 if I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, and that is, I'll be honest, I have not really delved into the research much on magnesium, but again, I've heard some of the buzzwords and some other trusted health professionals of people that I go to for my information talk about how magnesium is probably one of the most under-consumed, nutrients in our diet, and just how we are almost all, kind of like how vitamin D was, how we're almost all deficient in it. And again, magnesium, it's important. The magnesium and different, this goes for all supplements, but calcium. If you look, calcium can be bound to a couple different molecules. And those different molecules have different absorption rates in different bodies. But a lot of times, and this goes back to the quality, right? If you look at like calcium carbonate is chalk.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you look at a calcium supplement off the, off the shelf, look at Tums.
I was just about to say Tum,
the
edible chalk.
Yeah, it's literally chalk in your system. But the absorption rate on that type of calcium is so low. That's why if you take a calcium supplement, you'll see how significantly high percentage the recommended dosage is, so they want you to take, 5,000, 10,000% of it. The same thing with magnesium. A lot of times magnesium is bound to a number of different ones, and there's like 3 big ones. I'm going to forget what they're off the top of my head. Magnesium glycinate is one of them, but there's like 3 major compounds that magnesium can be bound with, and again, different absorption rates. So a good quality magnesium supplement will tend to have 3 or 4 of the different molecules that magnesium is bound with, so that again, depending on the person, you're going to get that you're going to get the absorption rate that you're looking for. But I have really moved to if someone has any sort of muscle tension, headache, energy challenge, just overall joint pain, like good quality magnesium supplement, 400 milligrams a day. I had a gentleman who I was working with this past week. It was like, he was getting really bad headaches. Again, under a lot of stress, and his started a new nonprofit organization under a lot of stress financially because of that, and just having excruciating, back of the head headaches, and going down into his neck, really restricted in his neck. Again, getting some changes on his thermal scans that we use in the office, but it was like, just not quite the expectation, because he was young, he's in his early 40s. Yeah. I expect a certain amount of, change and reduction in a pain level, after a certain number of visits. And, he just didn't quite seem to be getting there. And I'm like, you know what? Take magnesium, try magnesium. He started it on Friday. By Monday, when he came back in, his headache was like almost completely gone. And that was after, again, 9 or 10 out of 10 pain headaches for, almost 3 months. So, that kind of stuff, it's like, magnesium. And again, part of it is we've been so over inundated with calcium for so long. Oh, take calcium. But calcium and magnesium work in exchange in the body. And if you over inundate the body with calcium, a lot of times it'll supersede the magnesium. And so, really, I don't even recommend calcium supplements anymore. I just don't think, if you're getting good leafy green vegetables, and, you don't need calcium from milk. If you're getting some good leafy green vegetables in there, and you're doing a good job with and even if you eat any meat too, because calcium is in animal muscle tissue. So if you're getting red meat, you're eating chicken, you're getting calcium levels pretty sufficiently in your diet. So I don't even recommend calcium anymore, but I will move more to magnesium unless of course someone has severe, they're heading towards osteopenia or porosis.
That's a different.
But again, as we always talk about, it's almost more important that they're up moving around, adding resistance to their to their body, to maintain that balance there. So anyway, I just went on a lot for magnesium.
But again, it is. It's that important, and especially anyone who is active, for sure. But like we said, we have so many people that getting muscle cramps at night, or just those unexplained aches and pains, and a lot of those can be easily taken care of with these supplements. And that's I think that's really how we like to focus it too, because again, we could easily tell everybody, just take this multivitamin. But again, being able to pinpoint, and then again, somebody like that, if they were if we started them on 20 supplements, you wouldn't know what. So it's like, okay, you started this one, immediately feel better. Well, clearly that's having an impact. So then you can get to the point that you're just, you have it in that maintenance cycle. And if you find something that works, then stick with it and make sure that you're making that part of your routine. And again, not necessarily doing too much, letting the body naturally do what it can, get what you can from the diet, your diet, your lifestyle, all of that. But then again, supplementing what you truly need, because it's either too difficult to get from the diet, or just, again, our overly processed, convenience-based food is really detrimental, and that's, we
just
talk
leeches,
about we talk about that a lot. So just making sure that you're doing what you can to help give your body what it truly needs. Again, the essential the essential nutrients, making sure that it's not going too long without those, so that it's able to function. And again, if you're having unexplained fatigue, brain fog, achiness, digestive issues, just kind of all that unexplained stuff, sometimes it really just comes back down to the diet and to those basic nutrients. And are you getting, we have more access to food than any country.
Time in our history.
Anytime in our history. And yet we are probably
sickest,
surprisingly malnourished. And it's just, it's not
overfed, undernourished.
Exactly. So, making sure that you're really giving your body those basic. We always say it's simple, but it's not easy. It's like, again, look at our ancestors, what they lived on. It was very basic, and you can argue which ancestral type diet is best, but again, the basis of all of that is it was real food. It was, if it was meat, it was real meat. If it was plants, it was real plants.
Well, that's a great point, because that, I still, in fact, I just had a patient yesterday recommend this one documentary that she started watching on Netflix. And it was a limited docuseries. And so I started watching it, but I could immediately already tell just in the first episode of like how they're starting to push a little bit one way or another. And it's like, the problem comes down to quality, right? If you look at like the Inuit population, in northern Canada and, Alaska region, like 70% of their calories came from blubber off of whales. And yet they, had a population that lived very, very healthfully. They didn't have, they didn't have levels of cancer, heart disease, diabetes. So it's like, you can't sit here. And again, that was their argument, like, oh, animal fats and saturated fats. And I'm like, 70% of their diet was saturated fat, and they don't have a history of heart disease or cancer or all this other BS. So it's like, that's where, we've talked about this on other podcasts, and I'll get off my soapbox, but when there's an agenda involved in a documentary or trying to push a certain diet, like,
or a certain supplement,
again, you have to watch and you have to know who's funding it, where, and what are they trying to get to. There are populations in the world who have survived very, very healthfully off of almost a strictly carnivore or, meat, blubber, fat diet. There are other populations in the world that
strictly plant-based
vegan diet, like almost no animal meat other than maybe a little fish. Like there are, so there is such a wide variety, and there are ways to get it in everything. And there's even, there's even ways to actually get certain blood testing to know what you'll be sensitive to. And we'll talk about that on a whole other podcast. But really, at the end of the day, I don't think it's necessarily one specific perfect diet for any one person. It's about each of us. We're such a melting pot anymore of different ancestries, right?
And I think that's why we're, struggling so much in this country. I mean, it's because, again, we have access to all of this garbage, essentially, that's designed to be delicious and addicting and make you want to keep eating it, even though it's literally killing you. And, whenever, you see people that are like, oh, I can't believe that, anybody still smokes in this day and age. You know how bad it is for you. It's like, well, I can't believe anybody eats McDonald's or
Dunkin' Donuts.
I mean, it's like, you could say that about literally anything that's chemically, processed and made. It is designed to be addicting, and you might not even realize how addicted you are to
find MSG in any processed food, and that it literally is a chemical that changes your brain chemistry.
Oh my god, lights up the brain. So, but the point is, it's like, but then we talk about, we like to look at all these different cultures, but the difference with those cultures is that that's generations of generations of eating that way and being raised that way. And then we're here, and we are such a relatively new, new country, and we have
blended from so many different.
So blended that I think, again, it's like our bodies sort of are like what the heck should I be doing? Because, you'll talk to your one friend and they're like, oh yeah, I feel great. And you try that. You're like, I feel like crap when I eat that way. And then so you go to your other friend and they feel great doing something completely different. And I say all the time, it's, it's listening to your body and just
and if you can, and again, if you can partner with a health professional who's going to do certain testing to see what your blood chemistry shows, to see what some other tests show on whether or not what you're doing is helping or harming you, that's important. The fact that this idea that we're just going to have one, just go to see one, medical doctor as your primary health professional on your team. It's just like, it's sad, but they don't know anything about diet, and they don't even take I think they might take a class if anything. They get a couple hours throughout their entire medical training. So it's like making sure that you're pairing with a professional that is going to figure out if you're harming or hurting yourself. But anyway, so just to review, sidebar there, supplements. So the main ones we talked about that we kind of are pretty routine about is the blended omega essential fatty acid supplement that would cover omega 3, 6, and 9. The vitamin D coupled with K2, especially if you're north of the Mason-Dixon line. If you're in the northern half of the United States, definitely would want to consider that in the late fall through winter, early spring. And then the magnesium, as getting that in on a daily basis. But those are kind of like the three big ones. Just to finalize, is there anything that you cycle for anything specifically? Like if you notice you're feeling under the weather, or training wise, anything that you would do on just like a hey, this is showing up, I'm feeling this, so I'm going to take this supplement.
I mean, definitely, I'd say, the, some of the superfood blends. So, we have, the Organifi, their immunity one that has the vitamin C and zinc, and vitamin D in it. I'll take if I'm feeling something coming on, or their greens, pretty much anything that's a boost of antioxidants. I do more. I used to do them regularly, and then again, I found I seem to
do better
when it's where that's a little bit more of an as needed basis. But with the training, like I said, the magnesium and EFAs, I noticed the biggest difference. But no, I haven't. I've tried a lot. I've tried a lot of stuff over the years that's supposed to help. But I swear by my Epsom salt baths. That's been the best thing. I do a ton of other stuff for recovery and. But I think again,
you also eat a very good, healthy diet most of the time.
Yes,
80%.
Try to, yes. I would even argue 90%. I eat pretty clean because I noticed anymore. Again, when I eat out, I feel like crap, and that's just not worth it. So, I think. Again, with the supplements, it really is. I will say that I'm the absolute worst. I try to be regimented, and then again, the cycling seems to just work best with my my lifestyle and mindset. And
again, it's about adaptation, right? You're taking it as a loading dose, and then again, you go a couple of days or a couple of weeks without it. And it's your body knows what to do. It's incredibly adaptable. I mean, that's why we're able to eat this processed food and still live into our 60s, 70s, and again, very unhealthfully. But the fact that we can eat some of this processed food that's essentially poison, and the body can still maintain a level of life for 6 or 7 decades. I mean, the life expectancy is low 70s right now, depending on male or female. The fact that we can do that, I think, just shows you the incredible adaptability of the body, and we don't have to eat that absolute pristine diet. But the more we can eat the idealistic diet, the more healthy you're going to eat, be for a longer, many more decades.
Yeah. So diet, food first, real food, whole food first, supplement what you, and quality. Quality is key. So.
Very good. Well, if you have any questions, as always, we have a ton of information on our website, Turo, Turo, familychiropractic.com. And if any of this resonated with you, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to us directly, and we will see you at the next one.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
You've been listening to What the Health with Dr. Dan and Angela Toro, brought to you by Toro Family Chiropractic. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.whatthehealth.world.